Alright folks, welcome back. I am Shipwreck Sean and this is episode 23 of Let's Play Sailwind. It has been a wee while since I've played this game with you all. I've been playing a different sailing game off camera whilst I've been a little bit unwell, so I think I might be a little bit rusty, but the plans for today's episode is to begin our sail back westward across the ocean to the archipelago. I'm just looking up at the wind there and it looks like it's blowing us straight into the dock, so we're definitely going to need to do some pushing before we set sail, and I'm just going to commence that now, and if I've got any updates etc etc I will do that when we're underway. I used to think that pushing is cheating, but you know what? It's an integral part of Sailwind, and I will refuse to hear otherwise. We're going to let loose our inner jib, and we've actually pushed ourselves dead in the water, which is a fantastic start. I'm only just now noticing that little piece of art at the front of the dhow, which is very interesting. Didn't know that was a thing. I'm pushing the boat, but I think I'm actually fighting the harbour back here, haven't I? There we go. We'll push from the stern. That should encourage her a little bit. And then we're going to swim back round to the bow. This is Sailwind, this is not swim wind. We will do some sailing, I promise. Okay, up we go. Get this bow turned round whilst we've got hopefully enough momentum. Going to lock that helm. And I'm going to pull on the complete wrong sheet. There we go. Now the other game I've been playing off camera is Sail the Seas. You might have seen the gameplay first impressions video that I uploaded. I have been very much enjoying that game, but it's just the way the sailing works in it is just completely different from Sailwind. So if I wasn't already a little bit rusty, that's going to make me even more rusty. But I think we've turned round enough that I can straighten up this helm and start to think about getting some momentum. So we're going to raise our main sail, our main gaff here, and we're going to sheet that gaff out so that it covers about a 45-degree angle with the angle of sail. And now we've got a very decent bit of move forward. So we're going to take ourselves out of the harbour. I've got plenty to yap about, but I'll do that once I have left. It's been a while since I've practiced any sort of celestial navigation or even my noon readings with the sun. So we will practice as we go. But once I'm out the harbour and out of Dragon Cliffs and I've turned westward, we'll hop over to our interactive map and I will show you why it shouldn't matter too much how accurate we are, as long as we're roughly accurate. So I am just turning round now. You might have noticed, if you're eagle-eyed, that I have there are two barrels up the front, but there are no barrels in their usual spot. And that's because I haven't brought much water with me. Now, what the hell are you doing, Shipwreck Sean? I can hear you all asking. Well, that's because the plan for this voyage is just to get absolutely smashed on wine, rum and anything else I've got on board. And hopefully that'll pass the time nice and quick. We might even get there within the episode. although I'm not entirely sure about that. We're going to release the outer jib and pull the sheet in. And sail the seas, when you open up the jibs actually open up centered. So that's one of the things that are throwing me a touch. But I'll get there. I will play exclusively Sailwind for the next wee while. At the very least, until I've got the sandbuck. I've given her a maiden voyage. And I'm going to tinker around with upgrading her as well. Because I'm a little bit more confident with upgrading vessels now. Just a wee bit. Certainly no pro. We are imbalanced with her sails, that's why she's turning to port ever so slightly, but it doesn't matter. I don't need to get the perfect sail set up until we are actually out and headed westward. I have missed this game. One of my frequent commenters, who I very much appreciate, Taryn. Keep your ears peeled, Taryn. Because you might hear that I went and did something. Something I said I wasn't going to do. But I went and did it. Again, we'll go over all that when I'm out. But you might have noticed already. And also, reason number 1, because I'm Scottish. And reason number 2, because our character is going to be drinking a lot of rum and wine and beer. I've decided to keep a little cup next to me. And every time my character drinks, I'm going to have a little something. So we are very much role-playing today. We're having that 4D experience of Sailwind. We have left Dragon Cliffs, but I'm just going to keep us heading north just for a wee while longer, just so that we can get past this little nib here. And then I will bank us southwards. Westwards. Right, I'm going to drop bread here. You may have noticed that the return of the ungodly pile of bread is very much with us. I haven't got any more food with me other than an ungodly pile of bread and a fishing rod. And I think that should be enough this time. Last time I brought an entire crate of sunspot fish, but I'll not be doing that this time. Where the hell? There we go. I was just panicking. I was like, where the hell is my compass? Still got a wee bit to go before we can head westward. When we do head westward, there we go, that's what I'm trying to do. When we do head westward, it looks like the wind is going to be right up behind us, so we're going to have a very breezy start to this ocean passage. And I think I'm ready now, folks. Let's turn her west. Just a nice slow turn. It does look like maybe we're cutting it a bit fine there. So we'll hold it there for now. Right, so what have I gone over? I've gone over the ungodly pile. We've got some alcohol here. Oh. And I do need to open up the sails a bit more. You all thought you were getting the update now. I also thought I was giving you the update, but this is a sailing game. And we must do some sailing. Just going to open up these jibs completely. I can probably actually think about turning her slightly into the wind now, and hopefully the jibs will catch on the opposite side. just like that. And they look good to me. That should balance her out a touch. Now we can open up the top sail. Where on earth is the top sail? There we go. And for the first time in what feels like a long time, we have all of our sails out, which is very nice indeed. I don't like to do it on camera, but this could be a potential screenshot for our YouTube thumbnail. Right, we're losing a bit of wind there. Okay, the jibs are just going to fight between both sides, but we do want to head westward. So I'm going to turn us round, and I'm just going to accept that the jibs are not going to play with us in that regard. But they can stay open as much as they want out there. And I'm just going to keep a wee eye. We're headed just north of Westward. We're going to perfect that. The helm is so light in this game. Okay, back to the updates. You will notice that we have a red lantern and a green lantern. I believe they were sourced and sorted in episode 22. But I'm very excited about it. I can't wait for night time. We also have this lantern here, so we'll have our full night lights. I was tempted to shove the lantern hooks out on the side of the bulwark here. I don't know if you can do that, but it would just make us look like we are properly navigating a nighttime vessel. We're holding west very well, of which I am chuffed about. You can get closed. I've bought a crate of candles here. Plenty of water. In this crate, sorry, I'll move around so we can maybe see that a bit better. In this crate, you can see there's a lot more beer, some more water, and some navigation tools. In this crate, more beer and fishing hooks. More fishing hooks in here. In our old orange crate, we've still got loads of oranges, some water, and some beer. We are selling tea. We're trading tea back at Gold Rock City. We've got green tobacco here that we'll also be selling. We've got some eel, which we'll be selling. And up front, we have 2 more barrels of wine to get absolutely hammered on. So that's our stock. Jibs aren't having the best of times, but we are relatively balanced. Just keep us on that sort of more western heading. We did turn slightly northwards. So I'm tempted, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm tempted to bring the mainsail down just a touch, see if that makes a difference. I'm also having trouble with this new mouse. I was hoping that wasn't going to happen too early in the video, but it seems that it's happening already, which is fantastic. Right, okay, so we'll hop over to our interactive map while she does her thing for a while. So, I've already taken the liberty of filling in the start. Our plan, as I say, is to just bank completely westward. Now, if we stay westward from pretty much where we are and continue along, if we don't deviate from the course, we will see Gold Rock City. We do run the risk of going over the wrong latitude, but we'll try and keep it within 32 and 31 the whole way. We will be downwind the whole time until we get to -2, and then we will be upwind. So that is the little sail update. I guess maybe I could practice a little bit of pilotage from here. So looking at the tip, It's in between east and east-south-east, closer to east. So, closer to east, so roughly about here. And then where else can we look? Where's somewhere nice and easy? We'll look at the bottom tip of Serpent's Isle, which is between west, northwest, and northwest, directly between. So that is here, and that's between west, northwest, and northwest. And we have made it here. And that was the wrong thing. We have made it to here. So that's our very basic pilotage start. And now on to the real sail. Or at least the part I'm excited about. So, we are getting pretty thirsty. You know what that means, folks. Time for some beer. Very nice. Chuck that overboard. And since I did that, I'm going to pour myself a little glass of limoncello, because we're fancy here at Shipwreck Sean. And also I got a bottle for Christmas, which I very much need to go through. So, bottoms up. Cheers to everyone. Lovely. To those who don't drink, I hope I'm not alienating you or anything. I don't plan on getting absolutely plastered in real life. I just wanted to mark the occasion of having a drunken sail and being a drunken sailor. So it's just a wee bit of fun. Or as I say, I'm Scottish, so you could argue that it's my culture. I could maybe get away with that argument. And we're a little bit hungry. But I don't think I'm going to touch the bread yet. We're just going to have a little fish. Since it has been a long time since I've went fishing in this game. But we'll have a wee fish. And that'll do us. We've got a pretty strong stomach here in Sailwind. Looks like our hammock was under the water there, so that'll be fun to sleep in later. We're maybe quite heavy here at the stern. But I think we will manage. As you could see by the pilotage tool, the wind is behind us for quite a long time. And I believe that means we will be going pretty quickly. If it's quick enough, it will be within this episode. If not, I'll break it up into 2 or 3 episodes. I'm tempted to, for a couple of the nights, just not to speak. So basically just make a quick edit until noon. Do my noon readings, update where we are. Do that a couple of times. And that would certainly speed the video up. It doesn't look like we're catching any fish, does it? No, our fishing career's not off to a great start here. We did have a hook on the end. I spotted that. I feel like a gambler. I feel like, oh, there we go. I was just about to give up there. A slow reel back in. It looks like it is reaching the afternoon. Or maybe the evening, as the sun seems to be going down. So it's a very nice night to be setting sail back westward. I need to be very careful to make my hooks last, since I will be relying solely on fish and bread for this sail. But we caught our first fish of the voyage. Lovely. I might just keep my hook on me, because if that goes in the water, to use the younger folk lingo, we would be cooked. And not cooked like a raw salmon. Or was that an eel? So it looks like our energy's gone down a decent amount. So, in fact, no, I have not shown you what missions we've got. There we go. there's your mission. 1 mail to Gold Rock City. I could have taken more, but the plan is just to go straight to Gold Rock and get the sandbuck. Maybe I picked up a trade receipt. Yeah, so there's the eel. And there's the tea and green tobacco. I did all the trading in Emerald Dragons. I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do or not. People have mentioned in my comments, but I'm just not smart enough to pick it up. We are on day 70 for the total time playing this game, and we are leaving the Emerald Archipelago with 5,294 reputation, or a 15% discount. So not too far behind where we were on an Al-Ankh, but I'll take that. I'm wondering if it's maybe better to get into practice of going to sleep when it's closer to night time, and then I'll wake up closer to noon. But as I say, as long as I wake up and we're still going west, which we're keeping pretty well here, then we should be groovy. So, yep, I'm going to go to sleep. If I wake up at night time, we'll get to try out our fancy new lights. And if I wake up at daytime, which I don't think I will, then hopefully we'll be close to our noon reading. So folks, danger nap number 1 of the video. I'll see you when I'm awake. Alright folks, we have woken up and it is dark, so I'm going to turn on our green and our red. Very pretty. We're still headed decently west. I think that's only deviating because it's choppy seas. We'll turn on our lamp up forward. And Taran, I almost forgot to show you. You maybe can't see in the dark, but there we go. We bought the metal wind chimes and we bought the wooden ones. So the sounds of those will probably drive me mental in my voyage. We didn't actually sleep completely, but oh my god, are we getting knocked around. So I'm going to take in the topsail because it's getting a bit choppy out there. Hunger wise, we're doing alright. Thirst wise, we're doing alright. Yep, we have slightly deviated just north of west, so I'll turn us back round. I'll maybe micro adjust by going slightly south of west. How's the wind looking? It's still behind us, which is decent, but it's going to be hard to keep a perfect course in these choppy seas. I think I can make out Dragon Cliffs there. I'm trying to see if I can see anything else so I can make a wee reading. That might be Serpent's Isle, but it's too dark to make a reading. Maybe we can whack out our quadrant. And for a bit of fun, let's practice with the North Star again, because it has been a wee while. So follow the M, and then it's this one, I believe. Yes. And that looks to me about 31, 32, which is exactly where we want to be. So we can probably navigate the whole way home just using the North Star, to be fair. The North Star and the changes of wind. But I would like to keep the noon reading option there, just so that that's available. But look at her and her lights. Ain't she pretty? I'm going to miss this now. But I think we have, I think we've gotten about as much out of her as we potentially can. So I'm just going to sleep off the rest of that energy bar, and I'll be right back. Alright folks, we are back. We have fully replenished our energy bar. It is still night time. It is in fact 3:30 in the morning. So still too early to get, I can't remember the name, is it Orion's? An Orion's reading? I can't even remember where Orion's is. But I have come prepared. So if I head over to my browser, I have all of them open here. So Orion's, around 5 AM dawn on the east horizon. So we want to look east at, I think it's about 20 past 5, and it should just be a tad north of east. So we'll do exactly that. East is going to be in this direction, so we're going to be looking around here for Orion's. I have no idea where I am because I still can't see land because it's still dark. What's the percentages looking like? Can we just keep the red on for a little bit of ambience? We are thirsty and hungry. Do we have a hook? Yes, we do. So I'm going to get a fish, and then we're going to have some more honey beer. I hope I've brought enough. I don't plan on saving this game throughout the entire voyage, to be honest with you. The aim is just to get there. And if something goes horribly wrong, I will just start again. But I'll keep you guys along for the ride. I'll try and do some nice editing to make it less painful. But yeah, for those of you who maybe didn't catch the Sail the Seas video, I just wanted to apologise for how long it's taken for me to upload videos. I was feeling very unwell, but we are over the worst of it. You can maybe hear it in my voice, it's still a little bit raspy. And then I had toothache for a few days and was up to my gills in painkillers. But the worst of that seems to have gone as well. So we had the scurvy, lads, but we have survived. So apologies, and I appreciate you all for your patience. And if you haven't checked out the Sail the Seas video, I 100% recommend it because it is a great game. We have a fresh raw blue shimmertail for breakfast. Hasn't filled us up much, but it's done something. Right, it is becoming 5 in the morning. So I want to keep looking east. And if there is Orion's, it might actually be, we might not see it because of Dragon Cliffs here. So we'll just wait until 20 past. 6 minutes past at the moment. We do have land though, so I'll take a final, maybe not a final, but I'll take a pilotage reading, or at the very least a rough one. Quarter past. Are we seeing anything? No, I don't think we're going to get Orion's, unfortunately. It's just, yeah, there's too much land over there. It is 25 past and I'm still seeing nothing, so no Orion's reading for the moment. We have deviated northwards a touch again, so I'm going to reduce our mainsail by just a touch more. And I'm going to turn us back so that we are perfectly west, and in fact I will oversteer a touch again just so that we're south of west, and maybe it'll sort itself, and if it doesn't, well, that's a good thing. Why can't I move? I'm still holding on the hill. So we have now oversteered. I promise you I've only had one sip of limoncello. This is just my skills. Right, okay, so the northern island is northeast from us. So northern island, we're about the northern tip there. northeast. I'll just do a nice big line. And then the southern island of Serpent's Isle is between northeast and north-northeast. But I can't really see because of the sun, but the top part of Dragon Cliffs is a much easier reading to make. That's just slightly south of east. So I'm just going to do that. We don't need to be perfect here. And I believe I am roughly here. So we have deviated northward by quite a wee touch. Nothing too drastic though. As I say, as long as we're between the parameters of 31 degree latitude and 32 degree latitude, then we are okay. And I apologise, that's longitude, not latitude. So, back in. Be quite a while before noon. So I'm going to do a wee bit more fishing, and I'll be back with you when my hunger is satiated. Alright, we have breakfast. So I'm going to have a couple of raw fish, and I'll top off the rest with any dried bun slices I can find. I apologise, it's not the ungodly pile of bread, it's the ungodly pile of buns. Right, our direction is still slightly deviated south of west, which is good, so we will just perfect that to west. It does look like the wind, oh, it's changed quite a bit actually. So we're going to have to pull the sheet in to account for that, about there. But hopefully we keep our course with that. And I'm still not going to bother with the topsail. I'm quite happy with how we're pottering along here. This is by no means a race. I'm just going to micro adjust. Bringing that in just a touch more. I am happy. Right, okay, well, time to continue our drinking habits. One down. And 2 bottles of rice beer. Ah, we'll have the last drop. Okay. We are healing quite a bit. And she has turned slightly northwards, so I'm going to pull the main in a wee bit more. Turn us round westward. Now, stop me if I'm patronising you, but the main point of drinking alcohol on this voyage is because it drains your energy a lot more quickly if you do that. So the process is going to be wake up, do any readings. It is only 9 o'clock. Do any readings to find out roughly where I am, and then get absolutely hammered, let the energy bar drop, and go back to sleep. It sounds like a great life to me, folks. I don't know about you. I'm going to drop this on the shelf. I like to have a free spot in the inventory. Yep, she's holding west pretty well now. So just keep her going like that. Could probably use a wee sweep on deck, but we'll do that at some other point. So yeah, and we have 1 energy elixir here. I had to do a test off camera without saving to see whether or not it was an energy elixir or a snake oil, because it's a tough thing to find out if it's one or the other when you're in the middle of the ocean. Oh, and I just realised, because I drank some beer, I'm going to have some limoncello. Cheers, folks. Ah, lovely. So the Scottish word I'm going to teach you today, which is also an Irish word, is sláinte. That's in Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic. We say sláinte, which basically just means cheers. It translates directly to health. And if a Scottish person says sláinte to you, and you clink glasses or whatever, always respond with sláinte va. And that just means good health. I'm not seeing any land. Oh wait, no, still a bit of dragon cliffs beyond my blurry drunken vision there. But not much from Serpent Isle, so it'll be all sundial readings from here on out. Speaking of, can I still remember how to use this thing? Okay, so the sundial, that's going to give me my latitude. How the hell did I work out longitude again? That was just... It was just working out exactly what time the sun crosses south, right? And then checking the time on the clock. Now it's going to be awkward with the clock on this side, isn't it? I might have to do some rejigging here to put the clock over here. I'm going to do exactly that. Because the sun is always going to be on our port side now. Grab that. Pop that there. Perfect. So it means when we're tracking the sun like such, we can just look down and check the time immediately after. I can't even remember if I had a chronometer, but I don't seem to have it anymore. I am ill prepared for this voyage, but that is part of the fun. And I'm hoping I haven't got myself so drunk that I don't even make it to noon. But that is coming up for 11 o'clock actually, so not too long to go now. Right, so let me practice in my head. So basically I'm watching for that. In fact, no. I look down like this, don't I? Let's get it somewhere. And then I wait for the line to cross the centre. Or where it's bang on the centre, that's when I check the time. Cool. Thank you guys. We're there. We know what we're doing. So now I'm just waiting in anticipation for our first noon reading of the voyage. She is holding course very well. I'm very happy with that. I could probably get a little bit more speed out of her. But in my experience, I'd rather keep course than maintain a speed. I'm going to drop this, because speaking of speed, I'd like to check the chip log at some point. What time are we? past. We've got time. Waiting in anticipation. Okay, so that maxed out at about 8 knots. And it lowers out at about 6 knots. So I'm going to say 7 knots we're going. Roughly. I know there's a bunch of business with adding 4 minutes and stuff, but I'll just get the time and I'll work it out from there. So we're very close, and I think we actually missed it, unless that's it there. So if that was it there, it would have been 5, 10, about 11 or 12 minutes past. I think we missed it there, because 12 minutes past would mean, sorry, 12 minutes to, I believe, would mean 3 degrees longitude or latitude. My word, I should get it right. And if it was 3 degrees, that would make us here, and I don't think we're that far. But then again, we did sleep quite a bit. So I'm just going to dead reckon us here. And whenever I completely dead reckon, what I'll do is I will change the colour to blue, and then that way we know it's a complete guess. But that's decent progress, if that is to be believed. I didn't check the longitude there, but that's alright. But I think our energy levels are now low enough that we can go for another little danger nap. So I'm going to do exactly that, and I'll be back with you. Alright, we have woken up. We have deviated slightly south of west. So we're just going to correct that now. And we will check what time it is. Oh, the clock's not there. It is coming up for, well, it's 20 past 6. So I believe that means we can take, what was it, Milnid? We can take a Milnid star reading at 7 PM. And it's actually, sorry, did I say 6:30? It's coming up for 5:30. Analog clocks in modern many. So if I jump over to Milnid, Milnid can be seen at dusk above the setting sun. So west, because the sun sets in the west. And it's usually quite a touch up from it, just slightly south. So that one's an easy one to spot. And then we take a quadrant out, find the reading, and then compare it to the chart. And my trusty notepad, which I have not had open for quite a while. How's the wind looking? Bit more of a beam reach now. Can we still see land behind us? It doesn't look like it. There was maybe a slither there. Hold on, let me jump onto my navigational crates here. So I'm looking dead east, waiting for the seas to go down. There we go. You can just make out land there. So we're still within sights. Oh, jeezy. That looks like there might be a storm incoming as well. Which is going to be a fun start to the voyage. I wish I'd brought another lantern just so I could carry it around. But that's 6:15, getting close to the Whitner reading. And we are jumping about quite a bit now. Maybe I should bring the clock with me. What can I drop? Can I drop this knife? Because I want to be in sight of Whitna. Is that perhaps Whitna there? It might be. I'm going to stand on the bulkhead here. Not the bulkhead, the gunnel. I believe that's Whitna. So I'm just watching this clock. Waiting for 7. Ooh, sorry folks, I'm trying to make my voice more animated, but this sore throat is giving me a husk. Ten to 7. Not long now. And that's surely got to be Whitna. And then after that, well, you know what it'll be time for? A little bit of fishing and a little bit of boozing. And hopefully we sleep through the night. Maybe there's not a storm coming, but... Oh, I'm speaking past. Right, okay, so Whitna. Reading maybe about 13.5, 14. So let me cross-reference that with my notepad. Well, that can't be right. Because 13 and 14 is telling me we're at... Oh wait, no, it can be right. That would make us at about 1 or 2 degree latitude. So maybe that makes sense. 1 to 2 degrees. Let's get our longitude with the North Star. Okay, the mouse wheel. I'm going to go back to that shop where I bought this mouse. And I'm going to raise hell. Right, here we go. There we go. Right. That would tell me just above 32, which means we're deviating a bit more than I had anticipated. Yeah, I think we are. So I'm going to just claim that we are at 2 degrees and just above 32. So 2 degrees about here and just above 32. That would suggest we've come up this way. Oh, this mouse is doing my head in. So that's not an ideal start, if that is to be believed. I'm not sure I completely believe it, but I'm going to just turn us maybe west-southwest just for a wee while. It does put the wind behind us, I hope. Actually, I think it's made us a bit more downwind, so we're going to pull in the main here just a bit. And we'll see how she handles that. Yep, she seems to be balanced well enough for me anyway. So I'm going to put this clock back. And I'm going to grab a couple more fish, and I'll be back with you for breakfast and booze. Alright folks, we have, well, maybe not breakfast, maybe it's more of a supper. But a couple of hearty raw fish and a couple of dried bun slices. A very hearty diet we've got here. Right, check our course. We're still heading west-southwest, but it took me a few minutes of fishing there. So I'm going to turn the helm so that we are facing west. And it's time for the fun part. We don't have much coconut. Ah, screw it. I'm going to have some coconut wine this evening. Bottle 1 done. I think I'll just drop it there because I don't fancy jumping off the end of the boat. And we've still got a few swigs left of this. And I will wait for my energy to drunkenly drop. She has adjusted herself back to west-southwest. It's not a massive problem, but since I plan on heading to sleep soon, it would be nice if she held her course. Is that too much to ask? The time, I can barely see it because I'm so drunk. I don't know what time it is. Our character is absolutely plastered. Energy levels are dropping nice and quickly, so we should get a nice big sleep. I'm just going to keep practicing this North Star business. Okay, it's not turning because I keep holding down. So that's telling us that we're actually between 31 and 32 again. 132. Maybe just below 32, so that's good. As long as we're below 32, I'm happy. We were maybe close to doing a midnight reading there. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what time it is. We're getting quite close actually. Right, so what's the midnight? It's Wittina, and you've got to follow the bow. And I believe that's Wittina there. So, free up some room in my inventory. Grab the clock. Pop it there. Follow the bow again. And there is Wittina. And I will just wait till midnight. We are getting very tired and cranky. It's going to be a stinking hangover in the morning. $15 to go. I don't know how much of a difference it makes if you don't get it dead on. But the important part is that we're within our longitude parameters. Right, that's close enough. Right, that's giving me 35 on Wittina. And 35 is telling me 2 degrees. So I'm going to delete that one and assume that we were actually more like here. And then now we're more, I'm going to say roughly about there. So that's decent progress. But I don't want to flirt too much above 32 because that is, now there is a name for it. The area with no wind reading. See, there's no arrow there. There is a name. A friend I've been messaging on Discord, who I actually met through uploading these videos, did tell me, but I've forgotten. I'll make a point of remembering. Speaking of remembering, I did just have some wine, so another shot of limoncello, and time for a big danger nap. Quickly turn off the lanterns before I forget. And I'll see you guys when I wake up. Okie dokie, we have woken up. We've not quite fully slept, but we've slept enough. It is 10 in the morning, so not long until we can take a noon reading. So I'm quite happy with that. I think I'll let our thirst drop. I won't bother drinking water for now, even though I would like to get rid of some of these bottles. Speaking of, actually, we can get rid of this one. The dregs. That's what caused this morning's hangover. We are heading west still, maybe just slightly south, which of course I am still happy with, because we were deviating a bit too far north. But hopefully we're not now deviating too far south. How's the wind looking? The wind is right up behind us again. So we can open up this sheet as far as it will allow us to. And I think I'm going to go for the top sail as well, just for a bit of fun. Plenty of bread. Still got plenty of hooks. I've still got the same hook I started with, by the way. That's 5 fish so far. I can't remember what my record was. I'm sure it was it in the video I recorded when I was returning from Oasis? I think I got 7, maybe 8. I'm going to say 8. Maybe we can beat that. We are getting knocked around quite a bit, but that is to be expected. And maybe I will pull in the main sheet just a wee bit, just to reduce the chances of us deviating north again. Just keeping a wee eye on the compass and a wayward eye on the clock here. It has just passed 11. So, now I'm going to speak out loud. I know that's pretty much all we do on YouTube, but this time I'm doing it for me. I'm going to hold this. Whilst I'm holding that, I'm going to have the clock here. And I need to wait for the line to pass or hit the centre. And that'll tell us, when we cross-reference that with the clock, that'll tell us our latitude. And then the tip of the arrow will point at the longitude. I have said latitude and longitude so many times that I'm now starting to doubt which one is which. Latitude is up and down, right? Longitude is left and right. I'm pretty sure. But at about 11:45, which is coming up soon, we want to start paying some real attention. Now that dial does jump back and forward a wee touch, so I'm just keeping an eye. Oh, dearie me, I want to stand about here. That's 1:45, and it's just on now. So, oh, it's gone back. I'm going to say about 13, 14 minutes past. And I think the arrow's pointing at about 31, 32. So I said past, sorry, I mean 14 minutes to. So that would be 4, 8, 12, so 3.5. So that would, if that is to be believed, that would tell me that we've gone backwards. So clearly my noon readings still need quite a lot of work. But we know we're within 31 and 32 still, and that's the important part. So I'm not going to bother with a dead reckon. We're just going to keep on going. Right, so nothing left to it but to fish, eat the fish, eat some bread, and get hammered. So I'll be right back with you when I've got some fish. Alright, so that's 7 fish with the same hook. It's nice to get excited about this kind of thing, because that's going to be one of our only sources of entertainment for this voyage. That and the alcohol we have on board, of course. Probably should have caught 3, but that's fine, because I've got plenty of dried buns here. That'll do me. And now you know what time it is, folks. Coconut wine time, or one swig of it. And then we will crack open one of our crates of booze. Do I want to take from the orange crate or this crate? We'll go this crate. One bottle down. And a couple of swigs of that bottle. And we are feeling relatively toasty. Still headed pretty perfectly west, which I am chuffed with. The time is now 20 minutes past 2. So I'm just going to wait for the energy to drop, and I'm going to sleep. And in fact, since we are hauling our behinds, I'm going to take a little chip log reading. And also, whilst I'm doing that, a swig of limoncello. Lovely. I thought we would be going faster than this, but I'd say that's about 6.5 knots. Or thereabouts. I seem to be stuck on something. There we go. So yeah, I've not even touched my barrels of wine here yet. Still got plenty of stock to go. Now I'm really disappointing myself with the noon readings. I thought I'd be good at it by this point. We are turning slightly north there, aren't we? We don't want north. I'm going to put us roughly around west-southwest for this next nap. And in fact, if I take it pretty soon, I will wake up at night. And I seem to have a bit more luck with my longitude at night. But we shall see. Okie dokie folks, so I will let that energy, in fact, no. I have a shout out to make. A very important one. So, you'll notice I have the interactive map and all of the stars. I also have this open. This is a friend of mine called IKOLOKO Gameplay. You might have heard me mention him before in a couple of videos, and you might even have watched his previous series. Now unfortunately, he had a lot of his videos taken down. It looks like most of his videos, or all, due to problems with music. So today, 12 hours ago, he's uploaded his first video, and when I say first, I mean first in English. So I 100% recommend you go and check out IKOLOKO. He's a great sailor. I believe he's a pilot in real life as well. So very smart guy. So yeah, definitely go and check him out. He's absolutely brilliant. And that was the important shout out I had to make. I hope he does well, because it's unfortunate to, I mean, he clearly put a lot of effort into his videos. And then to lose them all just like that must be pretty heartbreaking. So IKOLOKO, I support you and I wish you the very best. Is it raining? IKOLOKO, have you brought bad weather upon me? Maybe it's the YouTube copyright gods. They're not happy. Well, since I'm seeing a bit of rain, I will decide now to go for my little nap. And we'll just see where and when we wake up. See y'all shortly. Alright folks, we have woken up in the dead of night. The weather has gotten increasingly worse. So I'm going to take in the topsail. Here we go. And it looks like we have deviated slightly northwards again. I'm guessing as a result of the sail setup and of course the weather. And we've got some lightning, perfect. We can't sleep through this one. Where's the wind going? Yeah, right behind us again. So to try and combat the north deviation, I'm going to bring in the main sail. It's proving very difficult to do that because the wind is just so damn strong. I'm even tempted to take in one of the jibs as well, but we'll see how we get on with what we've just done there. But this might just be a day of sailing through a storm, because it doesn't feel like we're going to get the chance to do any sort of celestial navigation here. Right, and now our gaff is on the opposite side, but she's still wanting to turn northwards. Right, can we get a quick look at a star? It doesn't look like it. There's too much cloud coverage. In fact, that's the North Star there, isn't it? So we can at least get a longitude reading. Try and get this perfect. Oh, spooky scary. Okay, that's still good for me. It is 2:30 in the morning, so we're way too far away to be doing any sort of latitude readings. And I don't really fancy doing some fishing right now. So I'm just going to have a couple of comfort buns. I think we've got a big enough pile to last us. And then we've also got the oranges as well, should it come to it. And we're also like the best Sailwind YouTuber in the world when it comes to fishing, right? It's nice to be confident at something, because we're certainly not the best at navigation. Right, that'll do for now. Still heading roughly in the direction I want to be heading in, but I'll try and get it more westward now, because the last longitude reading I just took was telling us that we're not exactly close to 32 anymore. So yes, very nice. How are our lanterns doing? Very well. Excuse me, just trying to clear my throat there. Sounding a bit croaky. But I know what'll help that. Some rice beer. Is rice beer real? I really hope not, because it doesn't sound good. I'm sure it's good if it is real. But if I was offered it, I don't think I'd be chomping at the bit. I don't think I'd be climbing over crowds to get a taste of rice beer. But I suppose if you describe real beer, wheat beer, doesn't exactly sound tasty that way, does it? Holding west pretty well. What's our speed like in this storm? I do prefer the chip log in Sail the Seas. You hold like a little timer in your right hand, and then you let the string off in the left hand. And obviously the theory is that you tie knots along a certain length in that rope, and then you let it go for a certain amount of time, and then when you reel it back in, you count the amount of knots that entered the water as you let go of the reel, and that should tell you your speed in knots, funnily enough. I think it's just convenient that knots sounds like nautical miles. Maybe I'm completely making all of that up, but it sounds about right. Right, wind is still a bit behind us, but not by much. But I'd rather keep that gaff there if I'm totally honest. That's the topsail. Actually going to pull it in just a touch. I would like us to not be heading completely west-southwest now, maybe somewhere in the middle of the two. It's very hard to get a perfect course right now with the weather, but this is as good as we're going to make it. I just want to get a half decent reading, so I know roughly where I am. Is it 5:20 yet? Oh, it's bang on 5:20. Okay, so east, and it should just be rising from the east, but we don't appear to see it because of the weather. So I'm not going to bother with Orions at this moment in time, because I'll probably just pick a random star and get myself confused. I don't think that rice beer got us very drunk. We seem to have a bit of a tolerance now. Such a realistic game. But I think it's fair to say we're completely out of reach of seeing any sort of land to our east. Fantastic. Right, well, I'm just going to continue sailing in this storm, and I will be back with you guys when I'm able to make a half decent reading. So see you then. Alright folks, well, I fished, I napped, I waited till noon, but it's too cloudy to make a noon reading, and we've got a storm coming, a proper storm, which is fun and games. So I guess all we can really do is just continue along. I also caught 2 more fish. I cannot remember how many I have caught at this point. Was it 7 or did we already catch 7? Am I on 9? Doubt it. Hopefully you lot have been keeping account of that. We will adjust us back westwards, and we will continue the process of just getting hammered. I think these jibs can come in actually quite a bit. Maybe about there. Looks horrendous, but does the job. We're having a tough time sailing here, but it's okay. We've got experience with storms now. That one just wants to get closer and closer. Get rid of this empty bottle, and this one that we clearly failed at dropping previously. Wait. And we'll just continue on our merry way, proving very difficult at this point to keep course. But since I think we've come quite far, I think I can be a bit less frugal with the alcohol, and I don't just need to drink it when I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink it with the sole purpose of getting drunk with it, and hopefully getting myself tired as quickly as possible. I think the ocean has turned blue, so maybe we're at 0 degree latitude now, roughly thereabouts. If we look at the daily logs, we've gone 3 days, so maybe? Who knows? I don't feel like I'm drunk enough though. There we go. We're practically in the sea. And now we wait. I'm just going to adjust us back westward, and I think I'm going to need to hold on to the helm whilst I'm doing this, because she's just jumping around like crazy. It's been a while since I've taken any sort of reading, so I don't know if I've deviated above 32 degrees or below 31. And of course I've got absolutely no idea what longitude I'm at. Latitude, oh my god. I think maybe the limoncello's getting to me, folks. Oh, which reminds me. Lovely. I hope those of you who can are drinking limoncello along with me. It's making the storm a little bit less scary, I suppose. Have some more buns. I don't think we need, no, we don't need oranges or anything yet. We're good in terms of fruit. I maybe went overkill on the pile of buns, but better to go overkill than underkill. Right, she's deviating north again. So let's see if that does something. Still turning. It doesn't feel like we're going that fast though. But she's turning very easily with just a light deft touch of the helm. But actually, if we're turning northward, oh my word, so I actually want the gaff out, because the gaff will be what turns us southward. I'm an idiot, folks, although I'm sure you knew that already. Still maybe a slight turn northward. But we can also release the sheet quite a touch on the main to get a better angle. What degrees did I say the wind changes? That is -2. I don't know where we are. I want to guess we're roughly about here. I'll just put a little guess point there, but that's more of a hopeful guess than anything else. Right. It is time for another danger nap. And hopefully we have clearer skies at night. What time is it? 3 PM. Hopefully we have clearer skies at night. And we can try to get somewhat of a reasonable reading from that. So, keep your fingers and toes crossed, folks. Alright, folks, we have woken up. The sea state seems to have calmed down a wee bit. So we will find the North Star and try and get a decent reading of that. Hoping that the boat stays relatively still. And that's, I would say that's bang on 31. So let's go and double check. So 31 is not bad at all, because that's pretty much where Gold Rock is. So even if we go a bit further south than that, not an issue. So as long as we're around 31, we are good. What time is it though? It is 9 PM, which is not a good time for any reading. A good reading would be midnight for Wittina again. So I'm going to hold off until midnight and we'll get a reading at that point. I will let our thirst drain whilst I do that. But in the meantime, I will fish and wait for midnight. Alright folks, so I've done some fishing. I caught 2 more and the fishing hook finally ended. So I hope you guys were keeping count, because I certainly wasn't. Maybe it's a record. Also just found out you can conveniently place the clock right here, which is very handy. I wonder where else I could have been placing it this entire time. But we know that Wittina follows this bow, and she's on the very end. So that's Wittina there. So we just wait until midnight and we will take our reading. And then we will get absolutely hammered. Still not touched the barrels of wine yet. If I've got one left over, I could probably sell it when I get there, but I think we're getting ahead of ourselves a wee bit. Or is that Wittina there? Yes, that's the same one I was pointing at. Okie dokie. And now we can prepare. There is Witnut. And I'm getting 34, I would say. So I will turn round to my trusty notepad. And that's saying we are at 1 degree. So I believed we were here, but I don't think we actually are. So we were somewhere just above 31 and on 1 degree. So I think that's our most accurate reading so far. So we're getting close to halfway. I think I was mistaken when I said we'll get this whole voyage within one video. That does not seem to be the case. But I'll do at least one more round of getting hammered, waking up, and then trying to make a reading. And then we'll call it a day there, folks. Because there's only so much limoncello one man can have. Pop that clock back where she rightly belongs. And we have completely turned off in the wrong direction. That's not good. So we might be closer to 32 now. I don't know how long that was deviated for. Hopefully she holds now. Right, time to get plastered. Some more honey beer or rice beer. And there we go, couple bottles of beer, I'm sure will cover it. Making a risky move here. I think both those beer bottles have just ended up back in the boat, which is always fun. But now I'll just wait for time to go down, I'll have a nap, and I'll be back with you. Alright folks, we are back. We've had our nap, we've done a bit of fishing, eaten some bread. I actually reeled in one fish with a new hook and broke the hook, so maybe we're not the best Sailwind fisher YouTuber guy. But I've decided I'm going to do my noon reading the first way I did it, which is waiting for the sun to kind of line up with the middle of this section here. Exactly when it points south, and then checking the clock here, because that seemed to work a bit better for me when I did that in the Eastward Voyage. So I'm feeling a bit more confident with doing it that way. It is currently about 20 minutes to, just over 20 minutes to 12. So this would be the time to start paying attention. And sorry if it's annoying to watch the menu continuously doing this. Right. I'm just waiting for it to center, and I have to keep moving slightly as I'm doing this. Now. Well, maybe not quite. So I would say that was about 5-6 minutes. So for each 4, it's 1 degree. So are we still on 1 degree? Really? It's hard to tell because it feels like that was centered there. I'm going to just guesstimate, right? Using my education, I'm going to say that we are like just before 0 degrees. I think the water's still green, and obviously the water will turn bluish when we cross over 0 degrees. So we're still in the positive, not quite in the negative, which gets us closer to Alank. But I'm going to say that's roughly where we're at. And if I've not left it too long, we'll take a quick sundial reading. And that looks to me like it's about 32 still. So, with our newfound knowledge is a bit of a stretch. So that was about 32, so I'm going to say we're a bit closer to 32 whilst being just before 0. So that's where I'm going to guess we are. All of this is probably completely wrong, but it's all we've got to go with, I'm afraid. So we've got a couple more degrees of latitude to go before we will be close hauling. So I'm wondering if maybe, what way is it going to be best to head to Gold Rock? If we're heading direct west, we might be able to get away with close hauling that way. It will be slow, but it's a bit less of a close haul than it would be if we were heading east. So I think we just want to keep heading directly west. I think that's the plan. So from where we are, our plan is just to keep heading in this direction. But we want to do that at about 31. So about here. Because that way we're not having to turn round directly in, or we're not having to sail past Gold Rock and turn in that way. So I believe that is the best way to do it, and that is certainly going to be the future plan. I'm going to just actually keep this arrow here to serve as a reminder. So it's just a matter of keeping that going, and we have turned completely north whilst I was yapping. How has that happened? Honestly, I was just sat here, minding my own business, waiting for noon, and as soon as I take a reading, she turns north. She was holding west very well. But I guess west-southwest is probably closer to where we want to be. And now she's turning. Well, I'm going to take that as Sailwind's way of saying to me, you've had too much limoncello, too much rice beer, to continue on, and I'm going to call it a day there, folks. So we'll hopefully make this a two-parter, and we'll very confidently say that we are halfway. I say very confidently, we'll partly confidently say we're halfway, but we're getting there. That is the wrong sheet. There we go. We're getting there slowly but surely. So folks, thank you very kindly for joining me, and I'll see you for part 2 and hopefully the homeward stretch part of our westward journey. I've been Shipwreck Sean. I am Shipwreck Tipsy on limoncello, and Shipwreck cheerio.